So I have been asked to talk on why believe in God. This is perhaps one of the most controversial or disputed or debated question across the time. There is no point of time when we don't have believers and non-believers as well. Believers come with a battery of arguments to show that yes, we have reasons to believe in God. It's not a dogma. It is not a blind faith. It is not a make-believe. Our belief, the belief has some evidence. So we have reasons to believe in God. There are equally strong reasons by the atheists, by the non-believers, who claim that there is no evidence, there is no reason why one should believe in God. That the belief in God is the, you can say, is a luxury. It is only people who are well up, people who have everything to spare and everything at their disposal. They are privileged rather to believe in God, to rejoice in the idea of God, belief in God. What about those? What about a person who has only one son, dies in an accident? Though he is very virtuous, God believer, why this happens? Why should he believe in God? There is an earthquake. It is not only the believers, not only the God believers, also atheists also die. Children also die, old people die. Can you say that still there is a God who is benevolent? There is a God who is all-powerful. If he is all-powerful, he could avoid accidents. He could avoid natural calamities. Why super cyclone, which claimed thousands of casualties, not only human casualties, but also animal casualties, birds and animals died in large numbers. Why this? Why there is that tsunami? Why there is earthquake? Why natural calamities? Despite this, can we believe that there is a God who is well-intentioned, well-meaning, who has created us, who has preserves us and nurtures us? So there appears to be equally competing arguments in favor of the existence of God and in favor of the non-existence of God. How to settle the issue? So there has been ongoing controversy among philosophers, scientists, religious people about the existence of someone who we never see. Existence of someone, an entity whom we never encounter, as we encounter friends, relatives, events in life, natural and unnatural, they're real for us. So what makes us believe that there is a God? And that too, the staunch believers say that without him, without his grace, even a blade of grass doesn't move. The river does not flow. The wind does not blow. All the myriads of heavenly bodies, they obey a system because of his ruling. So he is the eventual ruler. Whatever that we are here, it is because it has been dispensed at some other end. You meet a friend, you also miss a friend on the way. Everything is designed, predetermined for us. That is what the believers subscribe to. And whatever arguments you give, they are not prepared to accept. They are not relevant for them. And whatever arguments the proponents of existence of God give, non-believers are not, there are counter-arguments. So there are arguments and counter-arguments about the existence of a benevolent God. Now, if at all there is a God, what is his nature? He is omnipotent, all-powerful. He can make things happen, impossible things happen. He is omnipresent, he is present everywhere, he is present in an atom, he is present in an ant, present in an elephant. In the so-called inanimate objects also he is there. Oh, hidden life, vibrant in every atom, the universal player of theosophists. So God is omnipresent, present in every particle of the universe. And he is omniscient. He knows everything. There is a poem, Amar Sab Chala, Amar Sab Bola, Tomar Bina Tare Sada Jage. Whatever I think and do, it gets its vibration, has a sympathetic vibration in the lyre of God. So we cannot do anything without his knowledge. We cannot do anything without his consent. We cannot do anything without being empowered by him. This is a equally strong view. Now, how to go about it? This is not a new question. Right from the beginning of human civilization, there has been arguments and counter-arguments. Debates, raging debates about the existence of an entity whom we don't see through our sense organ. How do you know? Either we know through seeing or hearing or smelling or tasting or touching. There are 5 ways, sense organs, by which the world enters into us. For a blind man, there is no rainbow. For a person who is born blind, there is no rainbow. He cannot dream of a rainbow even because he has never seen colors. One who has seen colors can see in dream combination of colors. So a person who is born deaf and dumb, deaf, for him there is no thunder. For a blind man, there is no lightning. And if your nasal boards are dead, you don't have, for you, a jasmine and a gutter, smell of a stinking smell of a gutter is same. For a person whose skin has been anesthetized, for him hot and cold is the same. So hypothetically, if all my sense organs are dead, the world doesn't exist for me. Smell exists because my nose. Do you know God? Is God available in the sense organs? No. There is another sense organ of mind by which you know our pleasure and pain. 6 sense organs, 5 external sense organs, and 1 sense. Is God available in any of these organs? If he is there, if his microphone is there, maybe a blind man cannot see, but he can feel, he can touch. Is God if God is there universally, why everybody doesn't see it and accept it? If it's a universal presence, how can somebody disown his existence? This is a $1 million question which has been debated across time and climate down the time. Now, what does the question boil down to? Question boils down. From the creation, can you think of a creator? What we see is a creation. Sun rises and sets, the wind blows, there are animals, there are birds, there are insects, there are human beings, there is food, there is poison, solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, storms, tornadoes, super cyclones. This is all what we experience. Now, from this, can you think of reasonably, think of a creator who has brought the creation into existence. Just as the person who has made the mic was not there. At a point of time, somebody has done this. At a point of time, the table has been made by a carpenter. Similarly, there was a time when there was nothing, only God existed. This is what they say. And the world was brought into existence. Bible says, when there was nothing, only God was there. The world came into existence because of a mere wish. Let there be water, there was water. Let there be fire, there was fire. After creating everything, he created man after his image. If you go to Upanishads, friends, you find a similar thing. That saw Aichat. He desired. What did he desire? Ekom Bhausham. I am one, I shall become many. This is the creation story. The Upanishads say that in the beginning, when there was nothing, Brahman was there. What is the Brahman? Pure consciousness. So since his consciousness, he can desire. 3 things can happen: desiring, willing, and feeling. He desired. So Aichat, he desired. Bible also same thing, but the mode of creations are different. He said, I am one, I shall become many, not that I shall create many, I shall become many. So the one has become many. Since the original entity is conscious, everything that is there is also potential conscious. Some certain things are potential conscious, like stone. They would say that it is also there is a consciousness which is dormant in a stone. It's not visible. It is more explicit in plants which grow, but they can't move. More explicit in animals, they grow and they move. Animals are conscious. And there are human beings who are not only conscious, but self-conscious. That is how there is a hierarchy of creation, but the same thing is subject to evolution. So the one has become many, and the many also becomes one. So the creation is from one to many, and many to one. Advaita, then Advaita, then Advaita. This is the Upanishad view. Now, what is scientific view? Scientists say, by and large, they agree that the entire creation had a beginning 15 billion years ago, approximate, maybe 15.5, up 15 million years. That means the creation, the world, with all the entire universe had a beginning in time. How? Now, there was a big sound, bang, Big Bang. These are all the great scientists accept Big Bang. Now, what is the nature of the Big Bang? What was there at the time of Big Bang? There is only a point, dimensionless point. Existence was no dimension. And from that singular point, the whole universe has come into being. Narlikar has written about first 3 minutes of the universe. What happened? These forces, 4 different forces, strong force, weak force, gravity, they were not there. Space was not there, time was not there. Because space came into existence only when things are created. This is there, this is space. When nothing is there, space is meaningless. When there is no creation, time is not there. If sun would not move, nothing would take place. How to calculate time? Our time is calculated because sun moves. The sun is there, earth moves. And sun, along with the planets, they move around the galactic nucleus. If tree does not grow, nothing takes place, what is the meaning of time? Time is a span between 2 events. If there is no event, how to understand time? So that was the point where there is no space, no time, no forces of the forces by which you understand the universe. What happened? They say that from that one point, the universe expanded in an exponential speed. And from that one point, the whole universe, the galaxies, stars, we scientists do not know how big is the universe. Friends, we should remember it. Scientists do not know what is the boundary of the universe. I know the boundary of the universe, boundary of the house by going out. If I am born here, there is no chance to go out. I do not know how big is the house, or 3 floors or 4 floors. What is the area of the house? So I know the boundary of the house when I can go out of the house. So you know the size of the universe, boundary of the universe when you go beyond the universe. We have not gone beyond the solar system. Solar system is a tiny speck in the galaxy. There are millions and billions of star systems. And when they are going beyond the solar system, they try to take the picture of the Earth. They are not unable to take it. It's not even a speck. Earth. This is the nature of the solar system in a galaxy, and there are myriads of galaxies. Don't think that sun is static. Sun is static, stationary in relation to the planets. But sun, along with all the planets and satellites, is moving under a galactic nucleus, 6 billion years. And the galaxy moves in 65 billion years. So what is the nucleus? So we are science is too very immature, in an infancy. We make some subtle, send some subtle, some rover, take some photos, we make conjectures. We have not gone beyond the solar system. How to know how big is the universe unless you go to the other part of the universe? Leave aside that question. We are not going to discuss that. But the entire universe, whatever you call the big universe, not the earth, that is the result of continual expansion of that Big Bang. That expansion took place with the beginning of the Big Bang. So the creation had beginning at the time of Big Bang. Then what will happen? Now this expanding universe, they say, there will be stop, crunch. They call it crunch. All the theoretical physicists also, there will be crunch. And there will be again a contraction. And gradually this will contract and that will come to again single point. So they also say from one to many and many to one. The universe is not perennially, is not subject to perpetual. Human life is 70, 80 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 70 over. You are born as a grandchild, die as a grandfather. That's it. 80 years, 85 years. After that, you do not know. You don't remember your name. You can't recognize it. That is human life. How short is human life? And earth will not be there. One fine morning, the earth was a part of the sun. And one fine morning, this will be devoured in a, that will be, eaten up by a black hole. Human beings will not be there after 5 million years. That is the standard time allotted to vertebrates. So in this vast expanse of time, they say that a time will come and there will be crunch and the universe will continue to contract. So expansion will be followed by contraction till a point when it reaches a pointless, dimensionless point. Now what is the difference? Same model, one to many, many to one. Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya. We call it like that. Difference is, the scientists and those who do not believe in God, they say that the universe is as it is. You can understand and explain the universe. Given the cause, this effect. Why cyclone? This cause. You can predict cyclone now. You can predict earthquake. So things take place by certain laws. If you know the laws, you can explain the whole universe. Not only universe, anything that exists in the universe. You can calculate, see if you can calculate, after 1,000 years there will be Halley's comet. After 10,000 years, even Chandrasekhar, two sticks said that after 10,000, what will be the day of solar eclipse? So, science that things are predictable because they obey certain laws. If you know the laws, you can understand the universe. What is the necessity of a God to understand the universe? That is the argument that stands. We are going slowly, steadily to the crux of the problem. What do the scientists do? The scientists do not create laws. They discover the laws. Law of gravitation was not created by scientists. It is an artifice, conceptual artifice by which you explain why the material things gravitate, why the satellites move around the sun, why they move, because it's all due to gravitation. They discover the laws. If you know the cause of corona, you can control corona, you can prevent corona. So the whole universe, be it in case of a living being or non-living, they are driven by certain laws. Birth and death, why you grow young, then you grow old, then you die. Everything is subject to certain laws, natural laws. Where is the place of God here? But one thing we should halt and note, that there are laws even before the scientists, human beings are born. The laws govern the universe. Given the laws, they try to understand. Given the cause, the effect comes. They try to discover the causal dynamics. But the question is, you ask a scientist, first question, that if Big Bang had Big Bang had a beginning in time, is an event in time, what was there before Big Bang? Second question, what is it that caused Big Bang? Is there anything which caused Big Bang that is also more primitive than Big Bang? If it is spontaneous outburst, just like cracker, then why at that particular time? Why not before? Third, now why at all there are laws? Why there is no randomness? Why should there be laws? This cause will give rise to this effect, so that you can predict. They say this is not a scientific question, outside science. Laws are there, we are discovering. By discovering laws, what do they do? Three things. They understand. What is it? Then how is it? Explanation. How is it? And prediction. They predict. They can predict the state of the earth 1,000 years, 10,000 years, 1 million years ahead. If the nature of the universe, if the position of the earth, then after so many years, it will not be there. So they explain, they predict as well. Now all this is possible because nature is uniform. Remember this very important word, uniform. Nature behaves similarly under similar circumstances. That is why Newton says nature doesn't play dice for psychology. The behavior of nature is uniform. Now, why there is uniformity? The universe could have been without uniformities, because there is nothing, there is no purpose, there is no intelligence. It is just an accident. It is just an accident that world came into existence. Big Bang is a kind of accident. If it is so, how can there be a system in an accident? So this is something I'm asking. We are posing some questions to scientists. They will maximum say this is an unscientific question, because laws being there, science comes to it. But why laws are there? Number one. Number two is, what is this uniformity? Now, if you look at an atom, you find that there is a nucleus and electrons are moving around a particular spin with a particular system, with a particular discipline. They are not random. And what about the nucleus of the atom? It contains energy which can destroy the entire world. One atom. Unless you bombard the nucleus of the atom, you do not know how much energy. Scientists say, unless you spend, people do not know how rich you are. Unless you knock somebody down, people do not know how strong you are. Suppose I am very strong. How do you know that I am strong unless I knock you down? How do you know how much money I have? Unless I spend. So you do not know what is this, that atom is a storehouse of energy till it is bombarded. The nucleus is bombarded. So atom has a structure, and the similar structure is repeated in a solar system. The sun is the nucleus and things are moving in a particular orbit. That is why, friends, early in the morning, there may not be clouds, may not be rain, may not be sun, but sun will come in an exact appointed time. 6:05, you look back, the sun is rising. The sky may be cloudy, so these are all variations in nature. But the variations are not random, they are all subject to certain laws. But the movement of the planets, it is so precise, they are moving in such a precise orbit. You find that the similar structure in the atom is repeated in the solar system. And not only that, the galaxy containing myriads of solar systems or star systems also has a nucleus, and everything else is moving around it. Up to this we know. So right from an atom to a galaxy, the same structure. How to account for the structural design? If a doctor, supposing an African has come here and has a heart attack, he is admitted in a hospital, the doctor knows, opening the heart, what is the place of the different systems, vital parts. Where is the kidney? You will not be surprised, because the structure, human structure, whether he is an African or a Negro or a man from downtown of Manhattan. The chemists make experiments. They know that what kind of combination will give rise to what kind of results. They know it beforehand. So first of all, there is a uniformity. Number two, there is a design. Micro to macro, there is a design. And what is the nature of the design? They obey discipline. They don't operate at random, caprice. There is no caprice, there is no whim in nature. Now I am a good man, then I am become a smuggler, then I am a saint, then I am a evil doer. No, not like that. Human beings can behave erratically because they have human mind. Animals don't. Animals have time for mating and begetting. Animals cannot live unnatural ways. Animals don't have greed. If seasonal fruits come only in seasons, they don't come out of. If you can create artificial season, that is different. So the point is, the whole universe obeys a discipline. How to understand it? Is it result of an accident? Accident is an accident. How, if the same accident occurs in an atom and a solar system, then it is no more an accident. The accident will lose its meaning. So this structural design, the whole universe is designed. Can we attribute it chance? Now here, to answer the scientists, let us take some examples. Suppose you find find some cotton. Then after some time you find a pillow. So the cottons do not automatically come to make a pillow. There is a pillow maker, and there is a purpose behind making the pillow, bringing them together. The famous example is given by a philosopher who says, if you are going to this example also we cited some other time. Now, if you are going in a desert, you find a big piece of stone, you can attribute to chance. Maybe it is carried by a heavy gust of wind, 500 kilometers. It has been taken away from rocky region. We find a watch. Can you say different parts of the watch have come together by accident, make a you have to accept a watchmaker, because the parts are so small, so intricately joined, that there is need to be an intelligent mind to put them together so that you have to like a watch. And behind making this watch, there is a causal explanation. Why this? How this watch? By the scientists will say. But there is a purpose. It records time. Behind the pillow, I have to rest. Behind the chair, pieces of wood are there. But unless there is an intelligent carpenter, then it doesn't make a chair. The purpose of the chair is to recline. Isn't it? Let us take another example. Suppose there is a piece of paper. Now the child makes a paper boat, gives a particular shape so that it can float in water. It needs less intelligence to make a water boat. It needs some intelligence, not no intelligence. The paper doesn't automatically become a paper boat. Friends, when you have a ship, it also floats in water. Or you have a boat. You have a boat that floats in water, which ferries people, ferry boat. It needs more intelligence, more work, and work in a particular direction. So you have paper boat. So from paper boat, you have a wooden boat which floats in water, which ferries people. It needs more intelligence, planning. Always underline the word intelligence. Then when you have a ship which floats, which takes coal, carries oil in a stormy ocean, it needs so much of intelligent planning, a complicated design, machine which can withstand the storm in a stormy sea, in a cyclonic water. Have you seen submarines? Any one of you? You'll be simply amazed. A submarine, inside it, from there bombings are done, so much of intricate things. You'll simply wonder how a human being who 10,000 years back was roaming in the forest, how he could produce this. Look at a telephone, mobile phone. Nowhere. It catches you if you are internationally. There is international, you have this connectivity. Then if you are in New York, then it reaches you. Any part of the world you are, a small piece of oil. Would it be done by an accident? Does it not have purpose? This mobile phone has a purpose. You can see and talk in any part of the globe. I am giving you some examples. More complicated the object, and more it calls for greater intelligence. It cannot be attributed to chance. It is not that by chance things have come together and they have made a watch. It needs a calculated maneuver on the part of an intelligent mind, intelligent planning to make the watch possible. What about the universe, which is designed from an atom to a galaxy, micro to macro? This also example we discussed, but I am repeating it because it's relevant. The friend of Newton was a great disbeliever. Here is an instance where you can see the friend of Newton was a great disbeliever, and Newton himself was a great believer. Several times I've discussed, I am still discussing because it's very relevant, pertinent here. He used to always caricature Newton that you are a person with a double standard. In your official capacity, you are a great scientist, but in your private capacity, you are a dogmatic. Is there an evidence in the laboratory for which you are compelled to believe in God. It is just a belief. It's a fact. It's an idle belief. People believe and you believe. It is not expected of a scientist of your stature and your stature. Newton used to keep mum because he knew it for certain that whatever arguments he gave, my friend will not accept. He said there's no point in wasting time on him. He used to always say that Newton, be consistent in your life. Your personal life, your professional life should be consistent. You should be consistently. If you are a theist, be a consistent theist. If I am an atheist, why should I should worship at home? If I am an atheist, I don't believe in God, why should I do worship? Why should I go to temple? So Newton preferred to remain tacit, means silent, instead of trying to argue with him. One day he invited him for a breakfast. He had a spacious drawing room. So his friend was sitting and he was sitting, and then he found a decorated automatic crawling doll. When Newton came from the anteroom, he said, Newton, who has made this doll? Newton said, why? The doll has made itself. Well, absurd. How can a doll make itself? Newton smiled and said, dear, for a doll you need a doll maker, such a small design. It only crawls, nothing else. How could the universe, which is designed right from an atom to a galaxy, could make itself? He remained silent. There is no answer. You have to understand the creation of a doll maker. You need a doll maker. That means the intelligent planning on the website made a doll so that it can crawl automatically without push. How can the universe could make itself? Does it not stand in need of a supreme intelligence? Don't call it God. People think that God has because somebody has said, if a man would have been like a monkey, his gods and goddesses would have been like monkeys. मनुष्य माकड़ भाया होता तार आमर जमी आम सरस्वती पार्वती भी जगन्नाथ हाथ गोड़ मनुष्य हाथ गोड़ तैयारी कराई ईश्वर से प्रतिमा नास्ति finite cannot think of infinite, that is how he made a shape. So when we talk about, see, we should accept minimum, otherwise the scientist will pounce upon you that if a complicated design leads a more intelligent, more complicated, a paper boat, a wooden boat, that ferry is a ferry boat, a ship, a submarine, aeroplane, which carries its weight, carries the weight of the passengers and the weight of the luggages, flies in 1,500 kilometers per hour jets, international jets. Unless scientists this is technology, they use these scientific laws to make the technology possible, but because there are laws, they are able to make predictions, make things. Technology is possible because science is possible because the laws are uniform. But how the laws have come into existence? Secondly, what about the design? The third point. Things, though appear to be different, third very powerful argument. Things appear to be different. I am different from you in respect to the color of my skin, the language I speak, the religion I profess, the likes and dislikes I have. But deep within, there are same emotions, same ambitions, the same motherhood in every woman, be it an African mother or a mother in Manhattan, downtown of New York. Same motherhood. Not only that, go to the animals. You find a bitch also has same protective love for her puppies. A mother cat has same kind of love, protective love for her kitten. If you try to catch hold of one, he will hide. A bird extends her wings to protect her siblings. A cow will scare you away if you are touching the calf. Motherhood. Not only human beings. There are certain things we share with the animals. So, in some respect, we are all equal. In respect of color of the skin, you determined by the place you are born. In equator, if you are born near the equator, you have more of melanin in your skin and you are black, jet black. If you are born near the pole, you are white, snow white. They are jet black. So the color of the skin, your physiognomy depends on topography, geoclimatic conditions. That's it. Mongolians look different. But whether it's a Mongolian or Indian, we're all human beings. So there is an identity beneath apparent differences. Scientists say if you go beyond human beings, also you find some commonality between animals and human beings, and also plants. They say as you go back in creation, you find homogeneity. As the evolution progresses, there is also homogeneity. Homogeneity. But the philosopher, the spiritualists say there is not a homogeneity, there is unity. The homogeneity will merge in unity. So unity to unity, in and through multiplicity. So there are multiplicities. The Upanishads say that multiplicities pertain to name and form. I am different from you because I have a different physiognomy. Rasgulla is different from Pantua because of the color, but the same sweet and same cheese. So names and forms, they are different. The same elements in gaseous state called hydrogen and oxygen. When they become in liquid state, it's called water. In solid state, it's called ice, with same component. So those things appear to be different. If you go beneath, you find kind of unity and commonality. Now we know that the human society is one individual. Pierre Sarkar, human society one and indivisible. A time has come when you should recognize every man in any, irrespective of the place they are born, as human beings. Amritasya Putra, we are all children of one entity. Our appearance could be different, names could be different, forms could be different. Namarupa alga hai pare, kintu se gotiye jinsa tha. But a time has come when scientists say that the plants also communicate through underneath. Radhamohan, who is no more, gave so many lectures here. He talked about sociality of plants. It is a fact that some plants, like sal plant, they grow luxuriantly when they're planted together. And there is an underlying sociality of plants. Synchronic communication, when Dr. Ipapadi is there, she has worked on this. Synchronic communication between the whale that swims in Antarctic and then Pacific. There's a communication. Do you know another thing has come? Quantum entanglement. I'm not going to discuss that. The particles, subatomic particles, separated, they behave identically even though they are at a distance. Scientists say that the cause brings about effect. Suppose too much of rain has brought flood. Flood has brought famine. Famine, death. Because of the death, there is a trigger in the atmosphere. There will rain, there will flood, there will famine, there will death. So the cause gives rise to effect. But cause-effect entanglement is directed towards a purpose. You board in human plane, what do you say? You board a train and you die. Some people say died because the bus made an accident. But the teleological experts say he had to die because he boarded that bus, not any other bus. We call it destiny because we do not know the cause. We don't know the past. And there's nothing like destiny. It is driven by certain laws. Natural things are driven by natural laws, and your human destiny is driven by karmic laws. There is also law in there are moral law. As you sow, so you reap. You help somebody, certain result is good. You cannot escape the result. You are free not to help. But if you help, you are bound to reap the consequence of good action. If you hurt, consequence is awaiting. Just as cause and effect, in the moral order, there is a cause and effect of karmic law. Driven by karmic laws. We say that, yes, the boy is so good, I'm so religious. And it is a result of some other things he committed in the past. There is no accident in nature. Everything takes place as per certain laws, be it a natural law or a karmic law. So the karmic law operates in human domain, natural laws, and the two different laws, the karmic laws which operate in moral domain, natural laws which operate in natural domain, they are resultant of an underlying order. It's called Ruta. Upanishads call it Ruta, RTA, cosmic order. It's a long back, 15,000 years back, the great saints and seers of the past, through some methods, contemplative method, they said the whole, whether it's a karmic law, same action produces same effect, same cause in natural order. They are variants of the underlying order, that is Ruta, cosmic order. And when you speak according to the Ruta, you are said to be devoted to Satya. When you act according to the Ruta, you are said to be following Dharma. So in Upanishads, Dharma and Satya. When you speak according to the natural order, you are said to be truthful. When you act, that is why Satyang Bada, Dharmang Chara. When you act according to the cosmic order, like Pandavas, they are not victorious. No physical might is enough to defeat you. So all that I have been trying to bring over this, there is an order. How can the order be treated as a state of disorder? If there is an order. So, yes, I'm diverting perhaps. Now you see, things appear to be different, but there is intimate relationship, interdependence. We live on plants. The plants also live on water. Plants don't go to collect water. Plants have water underground. Just imagine there is no water underground, only we get water from the air. No vegetation would be possible. There will be several famines. No vegetation would be possible. And so the point is, we get nutrients from the plants, and the plants have their nutrients in the earth, state of nature. So that means we are dependent. We give out oxygen, carbon dioxide, that is a food for plants, and they give out oxygen, which is, so that means we are mutually dependent. So two things, friends, we have to underline: interrelatedness and interdependence. So what a designed world. If I have hunger, food is there on the state of nature. If I am thirsty, water is available in the state of nature. If I have a disease, Dravya Guna is there to treat the disease. Medicines are prepared out of certain fundamental. Because they have that curative power. If I have a disease, in the state of nature, there are things which have their curative power, out of which you make. Yes, there is an interdependence and interrelatedness. Another example is, the very famous examples I'm saying are not very abstruse or remote examples. So you see, they say that there are some plants, which grow in the ocean floor. 2 किलोमीटर 3 किलोमीटर तले माटी तले पे हिट छन जा माने ये समुद्र तले जो तले से शैवाल एगुडा सब ग्रोथ हुए You know what happens? Their growth is triggered by moon in the sky. तो 15 दिन से जो डार्क फोर्टनाइट रे से ग्रोथ रा स्टंटेड हुए एवं ब्राइट फोर्टनाइट रे से शीघ्र शीघ्र बढ़ंती. Where is the moon and where is the plant in the ocean floor? What is the connection? Relatedness की नहीं, dependence की नहीं. एभली कौन से disease ना, there cannot be a disease which cannot be cured because of the curative properties of plants or in the state of nature. Disease is a natural thing. For me, maybe for 50 years or 10 years I am sick, but the sickness is a part of health. Part of a natural. There are reasons why there is sickness. That is why it can be cured. The cause being there, the cause being controlled, the effect can be controlled. So there are no aberrations in the state of. You say cyclone. Cyclone is an aberration. I mean, cyclone chahuna. We don't want it. But cyclone come driven by certain cause and effect. If the same conditions prevail now, Odisha may experience cyclone again, super cyclone today, and maybe in Philippines now it is taking place because same conditions are prevailing. The condition prevailing in that, the result will come. Be it earthquake, it is not unnatural, it is a part of nature. Like every other thing, this is driven by a purpose. I'll go to the next point. Third thing is, when you explain X by Y, it is a causal explanation. Why X? There's a pillow because I put my. Why? Because I want to rest. You go to Sankhya philosophy, there is an explanation about it. He says that Prakriti is like a dancer in the stage. Purusha consciousness doesn't participate in creation. Mere presence of Purusha is enough to trigger the evolution. Prakriti is Trigunatmika, Sattva, Raja and Tama. So everything in the state of Trigunatmika. Now Prakriti is that which creates varieties. Now these varieties are the creation, the dance of creation is being enjoyed by Purusha, who is a mere drashta, Sakhi. Just as you sit and enjoy a dancer dancing on the stage, you are a Sakhi Satta. So the entire creation is being witnessed by that supreme consciousness. What I am doing today, now I am doing waving my hand, it is being watched by my mind. And what my mind thinks is being watched by my consciousness. And what this unit, the Anu Chaitanya is doing, is being watched by the cosmic consciousness, because I am part and parcel of the cosmic consciousness, which are the supreme witness in principle of whatever is taking place. Because it itself has become many. And we are all, this is called Oto Jogo and Proto Jogo, that supreme consciousness is connected with every individual through Oto Jogo. There is a connect, that means we are all connected to the source. And there is a process by which the consciousness gets related to the totality. It's called Proto Jogo. That is why Jada Jada hi Dharmasya. He is not only concerned about the individual, but also concerned about the collective welfare. Collective, we call it psychology, we call it collective unconscious. Or you can say collective psyche. So that supreme consciousness is connected with every atom. If an ant is trodden, it is said now, it creates a disorder in the cosmos, because we are related. If this part of my sweater is related to the other part, if there is any, if I tear it, then the whole sweater becomes weak. So the universe is like a labyrinth, the universe is like a tapestry, universe is like a complicated design. If one part is hot, it creates a disorder, we don't see it. Now the ecologists say, if an ant dies a premature death, not a normal death, it creates a disorder in the cosmos. So we are all related to every other thing inextricably, we are all related to every other thing of the universe. So that which appears to be separate, different, is not that we are all connected. Now, bring out the same principle. If that is so, could it be result of an accident? If for a small thing we need intelligence, for a more complicated thing like a submarine, we like superior intelligence. Normal engineers cannot do it unless you are trained. A person who is working in a commercial je thibo, se kon ghota kar peribo na steam engine kar peribo na computer kar peribo na remote control jo laser guided bombs jo kara hoche हमने ताको guide करके ताको भी करेगा. So the more complicated the things, the more intelligent is the. So the universe being a supremely designed right from top to right from tiny atom to a mega galaxy or mega thing. It could have not God. Don't bring God. God. Brahma God. Leave aside those things. People will object. At least you have to accept it is a result of some planning without and a purpose. When an intelligent being operates, it operates with a purpose. But Aristotle was a philosopher. He said to make a pot, four things you need. You need a matter. That means the clay. Khali clay Aristotle says, Greek philosopher, only clay will not make pot. You need a potter. It will give it a shape in a particular way. So it's called Upadana Karana, that's a Nimitta Karana. They are just jargons, just efficient cause. Then what is the cause of how from clay to pot? How does it graduate? A clay graduate to a pot? Shape. Bringing out a difference. Suppose you give for your daughter's marriage, you give a golden biscuit to a biscuit to a goldsmith. So golden biscuit is material cause. Goldsmith is the efficient cause. But the shape which it gives to make a earring, that shape is also the cause of the ornament. Change in shape. Aristotle says the most important cause is the final cause. When he is giving a shape, he has that finished product in his mind. I want to make the ornament of that design. So that guides all changes in the ornaments. It's final cause. There are 4 causes. And if you look at the universe, scientists explain the material cause and efficient cause. They don't accept it. It takes automatically. What about the finality? What are the final cause? So universe is not purposeless. It has a purpose. The creation has a purpose. This is one part of the argument. The second, I will not take more time, another 10-15 minutes. Now, another thing is, suppose I am speaking. जोठी कर्म थी से करता रही कर्म थी मुझे अमेरिका कही पारे बट somebody is there talking. This microphone गोटे is result is an action. There is a phone maker. This mic जे कर so whenever एटा मुझे जने बड़ो पूरी रे आई यू टॉक रे there is somebody who talk. This is so profound. Whatever is taking place, this appears to be event for us, but it is an action on a cosmic plane. If there is an action, there must be an actor, there must be an agency. That is supreme intelligence. So from action to agent. If it is a random, मौलिक पदार्थ अच्छी. Supposing there are elements, are there? Scientists say there are elements in state of nature, but the elements are not disparate. The elements come together, nutrients come together to make fruit, make a tree. मौलिक जिनस कौन कहे एक्सीडेंटल आसी बोली यौगिक हुए इज अ कंपाउंड. सो देयर इज अ डिफरेंस. द आर्गुमेंट इज देयर इज अ डिफरेंस बिटवीन ए mere object and an artifice. It is an artifice. It's an artifice. जोड़ा है जोड़ा जोड़ा केमते हला निट्स इंटेलिजेंस खाली थुआ है आसिक जोड़ी हो जाउची एवं जोड़ी गोटे पर्पस सर्व करूची. हमर न्यूट्रिशन हमको दउची. माछटे ए fish swims in water, takes this oxygen through gills. There is air in the atmosphere. The air, देखो it कितनी interesting is. जे बाधक हबो से मते सहायक हबो. Anything that facilitates also helps. Bird flies in the air, but air obstructs the नहीं. एयरटा माने पक्षीटा को बाधा सृष्टि करनी से आड़िकी जाउची ना तो एयर नथली उड़ी परिबो. No, 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 no. Anything that obstructs the same air which obstructs the bird from flying. Very famous example is given by a German thinker Kant. So the eagle would बहुत ऊपर उड़ी जाउची. हमर गोरा नेतला मते कहले तो कहिबोनी आदित्य. All of a sudden it feels तो मैं इतने बाटे पळी आसली मोर डेणा थियो ना मो डेणा नथिले तो मैं आउरी हल्का आइथांती आउरी ऊपर पळी थांती. Commit say if a bird which flies high altitude all of a sudden thinks that the wings are adding to my weight. Had I had no wings, I would have been lesser weight, I could still fly higher. Forgets it is because of the wings you have come so. Negativity, this is another very strong argument. I don't have time to tell you. The negativity has to be present so that the positivity has its existence. This is a very, very complicated argument. I'm not going into details. So there is from action you go to the agent. Another argument. From object you go to the subject. विषय This is spiritual. गोटे विषय अच्छी पानीटा तैयारी होती क्या शोष नहबार था पानी तैयारी न. So nothing is redundant. Everything has a necessity in the cosmic race, both food and poison. Sap कामुड़ देले मरी जीवे, but the venom of the snake helps you to prepare some life-saving drugs. अपन जो एंटी सिंड्रोम जो इम्यूनिटी सिंड्रोम गुड़ाक this costs 70,000 and is prepared out of completely diluted venom of a deadly snake which grow only in Australia. So the poison kills, but the poison has also property to heal. The same food which makes you healthy also makes you sick. अधिकांश लोग खाई असुस्थ होते ना न खाई असुस्थ होती. It's a paradox, but it's a complementary paradox. The same thing which nourishes you can also kill you. The same penicillin administered in the right time with proper taste will save a patient. Wrongly administered, पटकना मर जाए. So the point is, विषयटा थिले देखंतु विषय जदि अछि तार गोटे विषय अछि ताको उपभोग करिया गोटे कैटेगरी अछि. मनकर suppose I take water or I smell a beautiful jasmine. नाक अछि. तो नाक हला विषय. This is how argument goes. I will take another when we will sum up. विषय रहला नाक जो सुंगुची एटा का पे सुंगुची ना गोटे अंतकरण मन अछि बोली सुंगुची. मु तो किन कहूची कि एटा भलो स्मेल एटा गोटे पाइकन दिस स्मेल ऑफ ए स्टिंकिंग स्मेल ऑफ ए गटर एंड pungent smell of a gutter. It stinks or stench issuing from the gutter and the inviting smell of a jasmine. Who distinguishes it? नाक तो नौची किंतु एटा खराब एटा छोट पिला जानि परछि कोटा हळदिया कोटा सब कलर all the entire world is impinged on the child, but you distinguish how? It's your mind. So the object becomes a visaya, for visaya is sense organs को observe करछि mind, so mind becomes visaya. Mind ki observe करछि. If there is no consciousness, can mind observe? So mind becomes a visaya and visaya becomes consciousness. Now consciousness the sport, the whatever activities is taking place, joda is mind, sense organ jaha kichhi karuchi, this is being watched by another visaya, that is cosmic subject, that is Param Purush. Why it is Purusha? In scriptures it is said, Pure Sete iti Purusha. Because Sanskrit words are very connotative. Pure mane structure. Pure Sete mane je soi thae. Je sabu structure bhitere soi thae. Seta ke mane कहउचंदी, oh hidden life vibrant in every atom. Oh hidden light shining in every creature. Oh hidden love embracing all in one. कथा गुड़ा तार इंट्यूटिबल से कहते that is going to be accepted. Scientists now accept. Latest findings of science is this. Science say unless you accept an observer in knowing mind, you cannot explain. So that's a pan mind. Pan India. This company has a pan Indian presence. Pan mind. Even a metal has also fatigue. Now they are talking of metal fatigues. Many of the air crashes take place, metal fatigue. Upon overall choreography, that also gets, it also rejects, that repulsive year. Upon guide tag भले कि सजे कि तार टाइम रे केयर न होथे, अपन ठीक जो जगह रे अपन को तार बंद हबार थिबो, पहुंचला उठी बंद हबो. से अपन धोखा दबो नाही. अपन भाबी एटा गोटे पूरा हमर से जो the person who has made a garden in Mandasal, he has taught me a lesson. तो सर जो आरंभ कला मुझे देखु था सर एमान भी आपण कथा आम कथा बुझंती हमर भाषा जानती एटा पुरी रे म कहतले जे रिपीट करछि से आपण जोडे गछ आपण जे बर्तन जान देखबे से कोणारे जो गछटा लागि जी बोले एठी लगेली मु एठी लगेली सब दिन आसी आपाके ठिया हम it will have more it will trigger the growth of the plant because response to human emotions खाली आपण लग ताको चाहिबे देबो सेठी मोटे जीवेनी सेठी पानी देबे सेठी मैन्योर कि बुझियो केमते. How to understand that if you play music, they have better growth. That means they respond to music, they have mind. We have gone up to plants. We have not gone up to the Renancer founder P.R. Sarkar thar जाउतले जन सन्यासी भवेशानंद बोले जे जाउतले पूरा machine cross करूची को. He said, Bhaveshanand, do you know when you cross a stone, it also feels pain. You must develop spiritually to understand the mind of a stone. एको बुझिया पे केते इवोल्यूशन दरकार. So the whole universe is conscious. सेटा गला माने विषय रु आपण विषय की गला. What about the most important argument is why there is evil, why animals suffer, Why is wholesale destruction? हम जो आरंभ करते destruction is a part of creation. भाषण नुहे एग्जांपल दिया जाउची कि गोटे ए जे मानकर सपोजिंग एटा किछि नथिवो कैनवास रे आपण खाली ए कलाटा एतिकी थिवो तो एउडे कोन धळा दिर कला म किंतु पेंटिंग हे गेला व्हेन द पेंटिंग इज कंप्लीटेड इट एड्स ब्यूटी टू इट दिस कॉल्ड एस्थेटिक सॉल्यूशन दिस संसार रे मोटे इविल न थांदा तले गुडनेस रे वैल्यू न थांदा upon you have kindness. How do you know that you are kind? Because there is somebody in misery. If there is a misery, in case of one, why misery? Many are. I don't have time to tell you why misery. Self-earned. अर्जन कर देह कहीं पाइच ये शाशुटे कहीं पाइच दिन टर्चर करुच्ची संस्कार खेबनी से जगह आस शाशु केते कौन भल कर गोटे बहु आसो टर्चर तार संस्कार जीव केमती बोही न पारे होता केमी कणा को काणी काहू जुटाले चक्कर पानी कणा को काणी काहू जुटाले चक्कर पानी द सेम प्लेस where people come to see God, Lord Jagannath, also is a place for the pickpocket to earn. Is a place where you get affected by corona. Your religious sentiment drives you to Puri, but your karma also is behind it. So there is nothing like an accident. We think that there is evil, but the evil is nothing but good in disguise. Either evil is earned because of our previous actions, or you are exposed to evil because the consciousness wants to draw you onto you. There is a famous Christian, with this I think I should end. That means they will say there is nothing like evil. Evil is good misunderstood, and evil is necessary for good. So, केबे राती होई न थांदा तले लाइट रे बोले कोन थांदा लाइट को लाइट बोली we understand because it is juxtaposed with night. Pleasure is pleasure because there is suffering. जो लोग भूख हेले पिला दिन से कोका कोला पीबो से पानी रो स्वाद जानियो केमती जे भोक जाको न होईची खाद्य रो स्वाद से जानियो केमती भोक होला पुरो त खाद्य दे दे. Only a person who is hungry can understand, release food, understand what it means to be hungry. Then only you feel empathetic for a person who is hungry. So there is nothing like evil. So from this we come to the conclusion that another argument is the world is better place with both good and evil than only with good. So good or मानने की चीज रही नहीं. Yeah, I would level argument that it takes time to bring home this thing. So the point is the supreme force. Consciousness is free. Oh, yes, scientists are saying, that is the last very important part, they're saying that unless you accept consciousness as a constant, you can't explain the behavior of subatomic elements. Because intelligent localism is unpredictable, sometimes there is an unpredictability. And the type of uniformity and the responsiveness, mutual response, you cannot explain it mechanically or through only cause and effect. You have to accept consciousness as a very. Consciousness is not seen, but without it, nothing which seen can be explained. Quarks, science science. Indian philosophy has 6 sources of knowledge. What is the postulate? Apna kichi khao na swaste bol ro. Ratre khao the. बाणीवर पिला जो ये करती कौन ये दे फास्ट फॉर 10 days मुझे देखे उज्ज्वलता बढ़ी बढ़ी जाऊँ रात जूस पी दिन जो फास्टिंग ऑन टू डेथ the argument is like this: if somebody does not read in the daytime but does well, that means reading in the night. You have not seen, but it must be the case. So scientists postulate Big Bang के देखी जी Hawking से जन्म होते Big Bang गोटे किसी नथिला स्पेस नथिला टाइम नथिला Big Bang is a postulation. No one has seen it. Unless you accept Big Bang, you can't explain the state of the universe. Similarly, in the subatomic plane, unless you accept intelligence, you cannot explain the behavior of the subatomic particles. So now they are heading. If you go to see Kodark Sanctum, how many gates are there? 4 gates. पुरी मंदिर को ठाकुर देखा गले कौन दरकार चारिटा गेट अच्छी नॉर्थ गेट साउथ गेट सिमिलरली ट्रूथ इज अ sanctum sanctorum सत्य it cannot be different for scientists different for spiritual different for philosopher it cannot be different it is the same truth which is approached by science through experiment and experience approached by philosopher through reason gate is possible and spiritualist through experience supranormal experience. If truth is one, they're bound to agree. Truth is one, it is bound to agree. So, truth being the sanctum sanctorum, philosophers, scientists, religious people, spiritualists, they try to reach it through different ways. These ways could be different. That the way they explain things could be different on the way and route. But when they arrive at the point, at the sanctum sanctorum, it is bound to be there, bound to be convergence. So, time is not far off. When there is going to be convergence among philosophers, scientists, and religions, ekam sat vipraha bahuda vadanti. ये जो कथाटा कह जाइछि सत्य गोटे तो विभिन्न प्रकार रे विभिन्न लोक माने बुझंती कि अल्प जे अंध होइतिबो अल्प बुझितिबो से हाथीटा गोटे इज लाइक ए पिलर some other elephant say that elephant like touches the trunk like a python or the tail like a python कानु धरो एटा elephant गोटे कुला भलिया. It is true, elephant like a pillar from the point of legs. So, ultimately, there has to be convergence and conscious, unless you accept, my submission is, unless you accept Chetana as the constant, you cannot explain the design, you cannot explain the interrelatedness, interdependence of things and beings, you cannot explain the relationship between Vishaya and Vishayi and action and the agent. So this in a nutshell, no, I don't want to prolong it because already I think I have taken some more time than I should have taken. So this is how the journey of the philosopher, the scientist, the spiritualist begin and they end up, hopeful they will end up with a convergence of opinions among, a consensus among them. Because truth is one and they are approached in different ways. Their methodology, the universals or the conceptuals are different. Thank you.